say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead when I was passing
Greetings,
by.
friend.
And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And no, I like your style. Ooh, you make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So I say, dance for me,
Hey
dance
there.
for me, dance for me, oh. I've never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. I said, oh my God, I see you walking by. Take my hands, my dear, and look me in the eyes. Just like a monkey, I'll be dancing my whole life. And you just beg to see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. Ooh, you make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So I say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I've never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, oh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I've never seen
Hey there.
anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, oh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again, all again. Oh, oh, oh.
where 100 is no negative behaviors exhibited throughout the entire day. And she's been on 100 for the past, I think the last time we spoke to Miss Marsha was Tuesday. So since that day, she's been on 100. And that's how her kind of cycle will go. She'll have 5 to 10 good days in an incident. And it kind of goes through there. There's nothing big to where she needs a lot of staff intervention, but we could definitely see that escalating should she be in a lower level of care or in the home setting. In
Okay.
school, she does. Any questions on that before I move to school?
I don't. I think you touched on it. I know when we talked last week, you were going to be, I guess, talking more with her about the incident that happened, since that was um, something that we talked about with her throwing the shoe and remaining separated from that peer since they're on peer restriction.
And Mr. Charles, our program manager, did check the cameras. I know Taylor reported that the boy hit her. He did not see the boy touch her in any regard. So I knew that I was going to follow up with you regarding that piece.
Okay.
In the school setting, Taylor is pretty consistent. She gives about a 75% throughout the day. So that looks like if there's something she enjoys, something more experiential, or something that she feels like she has a good handle on, she'll really give it her all. If it's something new or something that's more strenuous or needs her to think a little bit more, she'll become more reserved and kind of come up with a scapegoat. So when she first came, for example, they had the kids read out loud, and Taylor reported, "Well, I need glasses, I can't see." And after talking with her, we found that she just didn't know that word. So we'll see instances of that kind of situation throughout, to where she'll say, "Oh, I can't find my pencil," or I don't know the instructions, or something of that nature, to where she just really it just needs the tutor to come over and help her. So definitely when she transitions, she will need that aid in the school setting to kind of help her stay on track. Her focus is pretty consistent, it's pretty good, but she just loses motivation relatively quickly when she encounters something that's too difficult. Any
Okay.
questions on the school setting?
I don't at this time.
And then lastly, we have that medication piece. So medication, she's on melatonin, 10 milligrams at bedtime, and then she's on Abilify 5 milligrams. Now that did increase from 2 milligrams to 5 milligrams early last month. She's been pretty stable. I did speak to the doctor about reducing that, but he feels that that would not be advantageous at that time because her behavior has kind of equaled out a little bit more, not given the situation that happened last week. So she
Mm-hmm.
feels that she's doing pretty well, and that it's more of let's
Say
work on
that.
some more coping skills and regulating skills within therapy before we try to decrease her Abilify at all.
Okay.
According to Taylor, what she reported to Dr. Fulton today was, "My medication isn't working. I'm still arguing with peers." We reported to her, as long as you're not fighting, that's all we can ask for. That, disagreements happen, but she's able to control
Mm-hmm.
herself to the point to where she's not becoming physically aggressive or engaging in the destruction of property, then we're pretty much happy. And so she was kind of delighted at that piece. But that's pretty much all I have for Taylor. Any questions you have for me regarding anything else of her treatment?
I don't think so. As far as treatment, I know one thing that we talked about last week was okay. I'm gonna pause just for a second. Mr. Stout, I see that you guys are on here, so thank you so much for calling in. Okay, so we've got our foster parents as well. But Miss Swint, one thing that we did talk about was um, trying to get some phone calls and maybe some sibling therapy visits with Beth and Hunter with Taylor. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that was one that we were going to discuss today, and how we could get that going.
Mm-hmm. And that can happen on a weekly or biweekly basis, however the team sees fit.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing right now with Miss Charlie is the Blue Jeans call, which is video chat, and we can definitely set aside time for Taylor to talk with her siblings. Like I said, on a weekly or biweekly basis. I just don't have that contact information. So
Uh-huh.
once I get that email address and that phone number, we can definitely set that up starting next week.
Okay, and we can talk about those things with the foster parents. I will say, we do have a standing video call with mom on Fridays at 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
I'm not sure if that would be way too much for everybody at once, but just throwing that out there. If we could incorporate anything with that as well, that might be helpful.
We wouldn't be able to do the Friday at 3 o'clock, but if it was sometime earlier in the week, we could definitely do
Is there
that.
something you
Okay.
need?
Well, I'll get with the foster parents chime in just a second once we get talking further about some other things. We can go back to the visitation. Okay.
We're open to whatever, just to put that out there.
Okay, Mr. Stott, I appreciate that. I know that evenings, afternoon wise was better for you guys as anyway. So what I can do just to kind of help non-convolute things is I can, I'll send an email, Miss Swint and Mr. and Miss Stout. I'll send you guys an email to share that contact information. And then whatever we can get worked out for sibling phone calls, that way it can be based on your all schedule, not, mine or anybody else's.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Ms. Hope, I know that you're on here and you're the guardian for this case. Do you have any questions as far as Taylor and her treatment at Inner Harbor right now?
No, it sounded like a really good update
Okay.
about how things are going.
Okay.
Do we have any idea? I know there was some talk about doing really well and then digressing. Do we have any kind of time frame where we're looking to step down into, or is that a premature question?
We're hoping September 21st. I do feel like she'll be more than ready to transition at that time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And she's currently a level 4 placement, correct?
She is.
Okay. Okay. Let's see.
It's Rebecca again. I have one more question. How are
Hey
the
there.
phone calls or video calls going with the mom and Taylor?
They've been doing pretty well. No issues. Like I was telling Miss Marsha last week, Taylor has gotten much better in being honest with her mother about any difficulties she's been having throughout the week, where before she would try to hide them. I think it's just because she doesn't see her mother as often. She didn't want that time to be tainted in any way. But she's become more comfortable in talking to her mom about things that bother her, if she feels like her medications aren't working, if the food is nasty. So she is really having more authentic conversations with her mother.
Okay, so Ms. Shaw, now that you're on here, is there anything that you want to add as far as Taylor and her treatment at Inner Harbor and how you think things are going?
No. I feel that they're going pretty good. She's actually starting, like she said, she's starting to open up a lot more than what she used to.
Okay.
Hey there.
Okay. All right. Ms. Swint, I can't think of any other questions or anything that I have for you specifically, other than just getting you this contact information to set up some video calls with the siblings. I really appreciate your update, and what I can do, because our placement staff is not on the phone, I can give her an update of a tentative discharge date, and then we'll be scheduling. We probably already have a phone call with Dr. White already scheduled, so we'll just our next CFTM for a progress review for her after the next call with Dr. White, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's more than okay.
Okay. You are welcome to stay on the phone because we're going to talk about the other two kids and then also Miss Shaw. But what I can do so you can hear about Miss Shaw is like we can talk about her right now and get her update. And then if you want to hang on, you can, or if you want to disconnect after that, you're welcome to do that as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to jump to Miss Shaw. So I know that I've talked with you a few times, but as far as the action steps that the department has asked you to do, could you give us an update as far as your housing situation?
Right now we are staying in a hotel because his cousin kicked us out of the trailer that we were in. But we are third on the housing for a 4-bedroom apartment, and we are, I want to say, 58 or 57 on the Section 8 list.
Okay. Okay, and that hotel is in Virginia, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's in Abingdon. We've been staying in between 3 of them up here at Exit 10.
Okay. And are you currently employed or do you get any type of benefits?
Jeremiah is getting unemployment, and he actually started working. I was going to start working at Wendy's at Exit 7, but because of the 2 babies, I had to not take the job because I couldn't find babysitter.
Okay. Okay. And as far as the 2 little ones, I know I was able to see them on the video call on Friday, so I appreciate that. But as far as the youngest one, can you remind me again when he was born?
He was born on March 21st. I got put in the hospital on the 20th, and they done a C-section on March 21st.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna hopefully not lose anybody, but I'm flipping back through my computer real quick just to get to your permanency plan. So I can just see, obviously I'm new to the case. I picked up the case at the beginning of this month, so I'm still learning everything. So I hope you guys just bear with me for just a second because I want to make sure that we're addressing all of the needs that we have for Mom.
I know I was supposed to do parenting classes, which I've already completed, parenting assessment, and a mental health assessment or evaluation, which I did both of those as well.
Okay, well, where did you do those at?
Jesse set them up. The parenting classes was with a woman, I want to say her name was Stacy, and she was through Families Free. And the other woman, I cannot remember her name.
Okay. As far as mental health for you, did they have any recommendations for any individual treatment or any additional services? I'm scrolling down real quick trying to see if I can find it.
Not that I know of. He didn't say that he wanted me to continue. He just, what I've been saying for a long time, I need to keep my distance from my mother.
Okay.
Because of past and present, and still yet she is still trying to
Ms. Shaw, are you still there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I didn't know if I got disconnected or not. Okay, so it looks like the housing piece was a big portion. Also, some drug screens were on the permanency plan. So I've looked back and I can't see, but do you know the last time that you had a drug screen given by the department?
It was before I could see the kids
Okay.
because that was court ordered. I had to pass 2 random drug screens before I could see the kids.
Let's see. Rebecca, I know that you and Miss Lester have been on the case. So is there, just off the top of your head, that you could possibly remember for the mother?
The housing was obviously a big piece because I think when this started, maybe she was still living with her mom. And as she stated, and as I totally 100% agree as the guardian ad litem, that's not a good situation for the children.
Right.
And I know with the drug screens, that was an important piece, and having some type of stable income. But I know she's pregnant, had been pregnant too during this, and does have the 2 small babies actually now. I don't have the perm plan right in front of me, so I'm trying to go off the top of my head.
I was
think
looking, and
those were the main things.
yeah, and it had homemaker
Greetings, friend.
services, parents.
Right, and I think that homemaker services, well, she did have a trailer for a little while, didn't you? Yeah, after you got out of your mom's house.
Yes, I
And I
was
think you'd already
renting.
done that. Did you already do your parenting classes?
Yes, I've already completed my parenting classes. I have a letter here somewhere from Stacy.
Okay.
So
Did you
was
do
there
your
any?
mental health? I think there was a mental health intake too. I'm trying to find my notes from the February hearing. Have you done your
Yeah.
mental health intake?
Yes, I did my mental health intake, my parenting assessment, and my parenting classes.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else, Marcia, from what I found in my notes too.
I was looking just to double check. Was there any type of alcohol and substance abuse that was needed? Since we do have the drug screens on here. I'm trying to get back to the parenting or the actual parenting assessment. To see, because that's on the permanency plan that I was looking at. That was recommended that she complete any A&D treatment.
Greetings,
Okay.
friend.
Marcia, at some point, could you email me the parenting assessment? I haven't seen
Yes.
it. right, thank
Yes,
you.
I will. Barbara, the previous team leader, she uploaded that for me because she was able to locate that in the Carter County
Hey there.
office.
Good,
Okay.
thank you.
This is Brandy. Can you do the same for me as well?
I
was
can.
thinking, awesome. I was thinking as well. There was a substance abuse assessment, but I was thinking from talking to Ms. Shaw that that was completed through maybe the parenting and the mental health. Like that was maybe
Is
something
there
that was
something
done
you
as a
need?
part of the classes through the parenting classes or something like that. I think she told me that they had been working on that. I might be mistaken on that, so maybe she can give you some more information on who did that, because I think she even did say a minute ago that she had done a substance abuse assessment.
Yes, it was with the same woman. The guy was on the computer, but he was the one that actually did my mental health assessment and the other
This is
assessment,
goodbye.
and she did my
I'm
parenting
leaving this place.
assessment.
Mother and I.
Right.
Reset.
So what I-
It was actually it was one of the last weeks of
Now we're talking.
February
The
or
Holy
beginning
have- I
of
wonder
March,
if you
because
do
it
want to
was
join
before I
us
had the
once in the
baby,
marsh, follow the
Right.
pilgrim.
and I
So
had
this-
him March 21st.
This clinical parenting assessment, I have the recommendations. So this will be something that I'm going to go back on the permanency plan since I did not create that permanency plan. I want to make sure that we have these recommendations on there. And yes, attorneys, I'm going to send that to you. But it does have a recommendation for individual therapy to regulate symptoms of depression and history of depression and a bipolar diagnosis. Also to address any unresolved grief or past trauma. It said that there was already an intake assessment completed and you would be scheduling therapy services soon. So if we could just follow up on that individual therapy.
I've been trying to get in with Frontier Health. It's
Yeah,
over there by
okay.
Kroger's.
Yes.
But when the corona and everything hit, it kind of stopped everything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, they were supposed to be back opening either the 6th of this month or the 21st, which would have been today actually, or yeah, well, today. So they should be back to seeing patients. So what I can do, Michelle, I can call up there to see if they still have you active. Is that where you did your intake at?
That's where I did the first intake, and then
Okay.
when they done my parenting intake and or not intake, but
Mm-hmm.
parenting assessment and stuff, they did another one.
Okay. So I'll check into that. And then on the parenting, it says you were completing the family's free classes.
Yes, ma'am.
And it just says that, let's see. Whenever the kids would transition back in the home, just to do the CCFT, which is intensive at-home services for the kids and yourself. And then it says that she was given a SASE, so that one came off as low concerns, but then also to continue with substance abuse education in your individual therapy, and then random drug screens. So that will be something when I call Frontier Health, I can double check on, and that can be worked into your individual therapy should they deem it appropriate. So Brandy and Rebecca, are you okay with that? If it's not on the permanency plan, then we're going to have to add that on there.
Sorry, what were you wanting to add?
Well, it's got the individual therapy, but on the substance abuse, it says that she could address that in individual therapy if the therapist feels it appropriate, and continue with the random drug screens.
I think I would be okay with that as long as she's passing random drug screens. But
Okay.
if she starts failing drug screens, then we definitely need to revisit this issue. What do you
Right.
think, Brandy?
Yeah, I agree. She's been doing really, really well with the previous worker. We talked back around the time that her baby was born, and she'd been doing well. So that might be the sort of lax recommendation there.
Mhm.
And I think previously she'd only tested positive for marijuana, and I hate to be kind of sort of dismissive of that because it is serious, especially considering she was pregnant at the time she had that positive. But if she's doing well and that's the recommendation, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I would agree that if she starts having some more trouble, then maybe we can set her up with some additional services.
Okay. All right. Well, I just like I said, wanted to go over what the clinical parenting assessment did say, since you guys did not have a copy of that. So that way we all are aware. Okay. And then also, since she is currently residing in Virginia, there is a limit of what the department can do for her as far as if we needed to get any additional referrals or recommendations. Some of our providers are not able to go to Virginia to work. So with an example of that is, since Taylor is currently at a youth villages provider, we could put an intercept worker in the home, but with her residing in Virginia, we cannot do that. So once she moves to Tennessee, that might be something that Miss Swint and I can discuss of getting intercept working with the mother.
This is Rebecca. As far as like the housing list she's on, are those in Tennessee or Virginia?
It's Tennessee.
Okay, so hopefully she'll be able to be back in Tennessee soon then to get those services, I would hope.
Yes. That is the goal. Miss Swint, are you still on here?
I
Yes.
am.
Okay, so Once Ms. Shaw is able to get housing in Tennessee, would you be able to do a referral for Intercept Services to help with the transition?
Absolutely, we definitely can.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. And so, Ms. Shaw, just Intercept is a really good program that can help with a lot of services. Also to help get you prepared to, even if we don't look at putting Taylor back in your home immediately at step down, they can still work with you to get you prepared for that transition and provide additional support. So that is something that would obviously want to look at to get going once you get back in Tennessee.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I guess we can move on to Hunter and Beth. So Mr. Stout, do you guys mind to give us an update on, I know I talked to you all last week, but if you wouldn't mind to give us an update on how Hunter and Beth are doing?
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. I mean, aside from some random issues of lying or taking things that didn't belong to them, both of them have had pretty much exemplary behavior uh, for a while now. So we've been spending more time with them that way that that they can spend time together because of the safety plan. We're not allowed to let them be alone together. So um, you know, at any rate, we're making sure that we give them 2 or 3 hours of day of 2 or 3 hours a day of together time, and so far it's actually been working out pretty well. They haven't been arguing or fussing at each other or anything, and I'm not sure if that's because of our presence or if they've spent enough time separated that they've started to understand that they've got to be nicer. Um, you know, but at any rate, there have been improvements upon their relationship together. Um, you know, and I don't know. That's about the extent of it. I mean, we
Okay.
we make sure to let we make sure that if you know that they're all getting outside time and things of that nature. So.
Okay. So as far as just the one incident the other night where Hunter hit Beth in the middle of the night, was that the only issue that you've had recently?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say that's the only issue over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I don't know our security system in the hallway. It doesn't have the camera in the hallway does not have a microphone on it.
Uh-huh.
So we couldn't really hear the conversation. I mean, anything is possible. It could be that she prodded him or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So the only thing that I can vouch for is that I saw him do it, but I can't say what. I can't say if she goaded him into it. If you understand.
Right. Yeah.
That actually, you know, yes, it happened, but it could have been a case of sibling, provocation or whatever.
Right.
Um, you know, and like I said, for the most part, we haven't noticed anything off about the way that they behave with one another when we're around. And obviously when we're not around, Hunter's in his room or outside.
Mm-hmm.
So that way there's no direct interaction between the two of them. But
Okay.
everything's been relatively peaceful here.
Oh, well, that is really good to hear. And I have still not found that safety plan, and that the last CFTM that was held does not specify what was on that plan. I know from what you have told me, basically letting them not be together all day, have them supervised to where they have limited interaction to, halt any aggression But other than that, I don't have a safety plan. Unfortunately, the previous case manager, I don't know what happened to it.
I can't recall all the specifics from it either.
So what I would like for us to be able to do, and Rebecca, do you happen to recall if you were on that meeting or not?
I was on a meeting in April when the issues originally came out, and they talked about doing a safety plan, but was the safety plan drafted outside of that meeting? I know there's some things we talked about, but I don't think I was involved on specific things.
Right.
And I've never been provided a copy of it. It sounds like the foster parents are doing fabulous with it in regards to the things that they've implemented.
I'm just going to be very honest. There is not a safety plan uploaded into TFAX. There is not a paper copy anywhere, and there is not even a note discussing the safety plan created.
So should we just put what would have been in the safety plan or what's
Yes.
been done the past couple of months? Make it ACFPM?
Yes, I'm going to have to create a new one. Or as far as putting it on paper. And, like you mentioned, is basically, having them, from what I could see, is sight and sound supervision with them, allowing them to, have their space. Obviously not anyone's room. They do have the security system and cameras in the home that could assist. And so those are the biggest things that I could take away to put on a paper plan, unless you can think of something additional. And that's, basically for to keep the physical aggression at a minimum.
I don't
I
really have
can't.
anything else to.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think it sounds good. I think the foster parents have done an excellent job. So what they're doing, just keep doing it.
Okay. So my question would be this then: is there a need for a safety plan if what we're doing, which apparently has been without a safety plan, is there an actual need to put one into effect?
So since it was something that was discussed, and I'm gonna have to go back on the cans to see, I don't know if they were updated to reflect any of the physical aggression that was occurring in the home. So for our purposes, it's going to be a paper plan, and it's not really something that is going to change. It's just things that you're already doing to ensure, that the kids obviously are not being aggressive toward each other or, any other inappropriate behaviors towards each other.
Yeah.
So, and that would be in the event that if I have to go back and redo his cans, if it does increase, just due to a history of the violence not really violence, but the aggression with Hunter, then we've already got that to fall back on. Or if something were to happen next week and somebody says, well, did you have a safety plan in place? Well, we talked about it because I've noted in our discussions that, there was supposed to be a plan. So we're just going to make sure that we've got that paper copy to make sure that you guys are covered, as well as, the department is making sure that we know what was going on and this is how we were addressing it. Does that make sense? That was a mouse. Okay. All right. So, but I will add that piece on there. Okay, and then I'll send it out a draft. That way, if I need to revise something, Mr. Stout, you can just shoot me an email back saying, hey, this isn't right, or this isn't something additional, if you feel like I've missed something.
Okay.
All right, and then they are in therapy, correct?
Yes,
with Omni. And is that weekly or bi-weekly? I'm sorry.
every week.
Okay.
They're,
did.
they're talking to Lee every week, once a week, and then they have or there's the CCFT
Mhm.
or CFT CCFT. I think
Yeah.
there's so many
CCFT.
acronyms.
Mhm.
I think it's CCFT where they do the
Mhm.
intensive home therapy.
Yes.
That's happening on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You know, via video conference or phone call at the time because of the situation. But
Right.
you know, so they're getting 3-4 times a week.
Okay. All right. And I did invite the Omni workers. I don't believe that I heard them pop on here, but if you did, say hi. If not, it's okay. Um,
Hi, this is Kaylee from Omni.
Hi, I'm so glad that you joined us. Do you have an update for us?
I started with Hunter not too long ago, so I'm still just learning everything about the situation and just getting him where he's comfortable with talking to me.
Okay. All right. So I will ask you, since you're providing the CCFT services, when we talked about the safety plan a few minutes ago, do you feel like there's anything as far as Omni or that we need to add to that plan, just as you know, for our precautionary moving forward?
No, not that I can think of, but I could email Lee and Kara because Kara's going to be is his THL worker or care coordinator. So I can email them to see if they want to add anything, and then I can send you an email.
Okay, that would be great. Okay. I think, Mr. Stout, was there anything that you wanted to add for the kids' part?
No, like I said, you know, it's been somewhat surreal here. You know, so they've been calm, and aside from that one incident in the hallway the other night, we really haven't had any other issues that we need to have addressed. I mean, obviously, the kids are still struggling with honesty and sticky fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially when it comes to I don't know, food. It's just a little weird. But we normally we have steps that we take to prevent, like locking pantry, and we have a locking pantry and things of that nature. So,
Okay. So is it more like they're hoarding the food, or that they just wanted to take it?
um, I don't know. You know, because if we ask them, you know, well, why did you feel the need to, you know, to take the food? Um, here's an example. We had Beth's birthday party, and we bought a you know, one of those big gallon containers of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, she decided to eat about a quarter of that bucket of ice cream. Was it half? I'm sorry, it was half of the bucket of ice cream, without actually letting us know that you know, she was getting a snack, or without even offering to share it with the other two kids in the house. You know, so basically, she effectively took ice cream from everybody else. You know, so it's not necessarily so much stealing, but taking a larger portion than necessary, which at the same time keeps someone else from getting that portion. Um,
Okay.
you understand what I'm saying? We're just trying
Yeah.
we're just trying to make sure that they think about the other kids.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because it's not like she didn't have any sweets. She had a whole cake. You know, so
Right.
you know, it's just that we try to teach the kids to make sure that if you're going to have ice cream, or if you're going to have popcorn, first you need to make sure that you share with everybody else, and then second, you need to make sure that the parents in the house understand that, you know, hey, I'm getting a snack because it could be 15 minutes till dinner.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't really want to call it stealing so much as basically breaking a rule that's meant to guide.
Right.
Um, so that seems to be a big problem that they have. They don't have any concept of consideration for others. So they take food, which in turn, basically steals fruit from other people, and then the lying is pretty odd, and uh, they blame each other. They like to throw each other under the bus just about for everything. I mean, the we could ask them why is the sky blue, and one of them would instantly turn around and blame the other one.
Right.
So I I don't know where that comes from, but then yeah, and then uh, sorry, I'm saying a lot, but uh, here's another for instance. One of them will take a pencil and then toss it in the other one's room, and then accuse that one of stealing the pencil.
Right.
So it's like they're planting evidence in order to make an accusation, and basically just generally stirring the pot. Um, so we catch them lying about things like that,
Right.
and then with let's see, ink pens. We had an incident where Beth took some of my Natalie's makeup and had hidden it in her bags because apparently she thought she was getting ready to go home. So she had packed her bags and had taken some of Natalie's makeup and stowed it away in her bags, I guess in an attempt to get makeup to take home with her. Um, and that just is what it is. But
Right.
uh,
So
I'm sorry.
when did she try to pack her bags when she said she was going home?
It was shortly after her birthday.
Okay, so recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like the week of her birthday, and then I don't know. At one point, she had the idea in her head that her mother was going to pick her up and take her to the beach. I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but because we didn't hear anybody say anything about it during any of the phone calls or anything. So,
Right.
but that was apparently a concept that was being held, and then but it's typical um, for kids. I mean, we've had a lot of kids come through the house over the past 3.5 years, and what I can say is it's kind of normal for them to have a conversation with their parents and then get their hopes up because of the parents have a positive attitude, or the parents may say something like, "Well, yeah, I won the lottery" or whatever. Um, you know, not bothering to say that I won $15 on the lottery, but I won the lottery. And the kid will be like, "Oh, well, now you're Daddy $4 now, so I'm going to pack my stuff because I'm going to be going home." So the kids are prone to making assumptions, which leads them to do odd things, especially with packing, because that's the hope that I'm going to go home. But you know, and so like after every visitation, um, I don't know, Beth has a tendency to try to pack her stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's yeah, and I don't know. I think that may be what kind of prompted Hunter this week to want to try to opt out of the visitation.
Mhm.
I don't know. Again, like I said, the kids don't really open up with us as much as they do the therapists. So, um, but anyway, no real problems, no big problems, just lying, some minor stealing, and then the idiosyncratic packing of bags and things of that nature.
Right.
Just but other than that, everything seems to be fine.
Right.
The
I
others
mean,
are
whenever, right, on the video call that Friday that I was able to sit down on, Charlie, I will say it was a little, I guess at first with Junior, it was a little chaotic at the struggle of trying to get the call and conversation going. But I will say you did a really good job of trying to engage Beth, even though Hunter didn't want to talk. So I give you big kudos for that because, you have a lot on your plate. So, but you're doing a really good job. So let's see. I think we lost somebody. But with all of that said, I don't think at this point that I've got anything additional to share right now with the team other than getting the safety plan on paper and then the individual therapy. I'll follow back up with that. And then Miss Swint and Mr. Stout getting you your contact information shared so we can get some video calls going with the children together. That's the 3 action steps that I currently have. I think that we have court. I have it on my calendar somewhere. Let's see. Court on July 29th at 9 o'clock is what I have down. Mr. Stout, I'm anticipating that the kids probably won't need to be there. If something changes, I can definitely let you know.
I prefer the kids not to be there because of my mother.
And this is Rebecca. And I'm fine without the kids being there because I know the main part of this hearing is to hear the grandmother's petition on custody. And then just, of course, to review the parents' progress. But
Okay. All right, I'm going to note that. That way, Mr. Stout, they do not have to be there. If we need them for something, we can do a video call if the judge would like to speak to them prior to the hearing.
Right.
After the hearing.
That will work, Marcia, in case the judge does want to see them. I know they're generally not letting children come to court right now anyway with the COVID restrictions.
Right. Yes. Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything additional they want to add? Okay, I'm going to take silence as a no. Just real quick, just to verify, Mr. Stout, did you get my Friday appointment? I just
Sorry,
said
did I get what? You broke up a little bit.
the Friday appointment for your calendar with the link on it. It's going to be the same link, and I tried to set that and send it out so it'll come up every Friday at the same time.
Let's see. Yeah, I did get. I got the last one that you sent on Friday afternoon.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I did get it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So that is that will be the link for the next phone calls going forward. We still do not have any clarification or verification of when we would resume in-person face-to-face visits. So until we get any federal guidelines sent down to us, we will be doing video calls at least through the month of July. Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone's time in participating today. So I will get this CFTM summary typed up, finished, and emailed out to the team. And that way, if anybody has any questions, you can get back with me. And Mr. Stout, once I get this draft of the safety plan, I'm going to send it to you first, if you don't mind. I can let you know before I send it so you can be expecting it.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everyone so much.
So we're done?
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.